this time around, I was curious what other games were essentially running the same scam where you think it's a game of skill, but in reality, the arcade owner is controlling when a jackpot's won. And as it turns out, this really popular game called Stacker employs the same trick. This other really popular game, Keymaster, and this Cut the Rope game are also, in fact, running the same scam. I call these games scams because they present themselves as winnable games of skill, when in reality, it's essentially a random dice roll that is heavily stacked against you. And just like at the carnival, the most lucrative games are those where people overestimate their chances of winning because they seem to get close, but they don't quite win. In gambling psychology, this is known as the near miss effect, and it will lead to increased play of the slot machine. But this is much worse than a slot machine, because at least in that case, you know it doesn't matter how you pull the lever because it's random chance. And on top of that, those games are regulated, so there is a minimum payout required by law. So for every dollar, for example, put into a slot machine, they have to pay out at least 80 cents back to the players. But for those scam arcade games I just mentioned, the default payout rate is on average 20 cents for every dollar you spend, but a shady arcade owner could basically set that to 0 and no one would know, and that would be perfectly legal. And that's especially messed up because it's primarily played by kids. So if you remember nothing else, just try and pick games that avoid any sort of digital winning element that can be rigged, because in those cases, you just never really know what your chances are. These games, however, are all great options to at least have a better sense of your actual odds of winning.